Let's start with WePow's pre-recorded solution. What you're looking at is the inside of the platform, essentially the recruiter view. Let's start by building an interview. In the interest of time, let's clone an existing interview. You can build an entire interview from this one interface. We'll start by changing the title. So let's put in a title. We can set a deadline. The deadline feature can either be based on individual deadlines. So if I invite a candidate today, they have X amount of days to complete an interview. We're going to put 7 days. Alternatively, I could put a fixed deadline, and that would set a specific date where the candidate had to complete the interview by. But we'll go with candidate individual deadline. If we come down to the timeline view, these are the core components of a WePow interview. Here in purple, we have our promotional career videos. These are the first thing that a candidate will see when they initially click on your link to complete the interview. Oftentimes, organizations will put a career video, an ad, something fun to keep the candidate engaged. Forms are an optional part of WePow. Organizations sometimes include forms to ask knockout-style questions. So these are multiple choice questions asking things such as, are you willing to relocate? Yes, no. What languages do you speak? The great thing about using forms is that when your recruiters are reviewing candidate responses, you can filter the responses by how people responded on the forms. Next, in orange, we have what we call transition videos. Transition videos are extremely flexible in WePow. You can have a transition video as an introduction, so welcome from the recruiter, the hiring manager, or maybe even the president of your company. Oftentimes, our clients will use transition videos to bookend the interview. So as a quick introduction and as a thank you at the end of the interview. Of course, you can be as flexible and creative as you'd like. You could have a transition video in the middle of an interview. Maybe your video is an office tour, or it could even be in a scene with actors acting a specific situation that a candidate would have to deal with in real life. And you can ask them how they'd respond to that. In blue, we have our questions. So the way questions work in WePow is that you record yourself asking the question. That really helps to humanize the experience. Candidates are able to see somebody within your organization speaking to them. This is often the recruiter or the hiring manager. After recording your question, you can set an amount of time to think. So typically our clients will put 20 seconds to think and a set amount of time to respond. So this sets the limit for how long candidates have to actually respond to their questions. We'll put 2 minutes. You can also have questions that are written responses, where you type out the question and you're asking the candidate to type out their response. WePow questions, or any content you put in WePow, is saved into your resource library. So if I want to pull new questions, I don't have to record them every time. I can pull from my library by simply clicking on a question and it gets added to my interview. You can add tags to your questions to make sure that you're focused on different competencies or pulling questions for specific roles. Lastly, we have what we call documents. So you're able to request various documents to be uploaded at the end of an interview. As an example, you can ask for a cover letter, a portfolio, or even a list of references. That's it. You can build an entire interview from this one interface, and everything WePow can be dragged and dropped into different sections. Let's go ahead and hit done. Next, let's invite our candidates. You can do this in a number of ways. Inviting candidates is as simple as typing the candidate's email, name, and you can optionally add their phone number. By adding the mobile phone number, you'll be able to send them text message invitations. Don't worry, you don't have to add every candidate individually. You can import from an Excel file, making it a lot easier. Also, for each interview, we have what we call a public link. So if you go to the settings menu, you're able to use this public link to invite a candidate via social media by sending a link to this via your own email message, or by posting this online directly in the job posting. Now let's take a look at the candidate experience. A candidate will get a branded email invitation, including your company logo and color scheme. This message will show the deadline for the interview. The candidate is able to read the custom message you've put together, and when they're ready, they can hit Start My Interview. The candidate will be greeted by a branded and personalized welcome page. The great thing about WePow is that we copy your entire look and feel. Our goal is to make sure the experience looks and feels like your entire organization. The welcome page is personalized for the candidate, so it says their name. Hi, George Fonder. George is interviewing for the graduate rotational program. What's playing here is the promotional career video that we've added for this interview to show your company culture. Next, we'll go to the overview. The overview shares information about this particular interview. So this interview includes a short form, 2 questions requiring a video response, 1 question requiring a written response, and we're asking the candidate to upload a portfolio at the end of the experience. Let's go ahead and hit continue. Next, we'll go into setup phase. So we're going to ask the candidate to record themselves. Just a quick test to make sure everything's working. To the right-hand side, we have our Help tab. Candidates can click on this to have 24/7 email and live chat support. Next, we'll hit Continue. The system will do an automatic system test. So we're checking their connectivity. We want to make sure they have the right bandwidth. We also want to check their camera equipment. This is all done automatically to ensure candidates have the best experience possible. Now we're all set. The candidates can try some practice questions before they begin or hit Begin Interview. For this interview, we added a multiple choice form. The candidate will have to complete the form before getting started. We'll say we have over 7 years of experience and we are into sales and marketing. Next, the candidate is going to be taken to the welcome video.
Hi, I'm Nicole. Welcome to your video interview. Congratulations on getting to this stage. The types of questions you're about to see are the same types of questions typically asked during an initial screen. We want to learn more about you and your experiences. Relax, take a deep breath. We're not expecting perfection. Okay, best of luck and let's get started.
So here we have question 1. Question 1 is going to require a video response. We'll give the candidate 20 seconds to think and 2 minutes to answer. Let's hit continue.
Give me an example of a risk you took recently. Make sure to tell us what factors you considered, what challenges you faced, and what the outcome was.
So the video of the question plays. The candidate is able to repeat the question once in case in the video you embellished, but we always show the text of the question below. Here in the top right hand corner, that's me, the candidate. Some candidates get distracted by seeing themselves, so the hide feature works very well for that. Here we gave the candidate 2 minutes to respond and 20 seconds to think about their answer. So after this countdown goes down, we're going to automatically start recording their response. So now we're recording the response for the set 2 minutes. The candidate doesn't have to take the whole time. When they're ready, they can hit end recording. We'll save that and load the next question. For the third question, we're going to ask for a written response. So the candidate's going to have a 1,000-character limit, and we're giving them 5 minutes to respond. So this question is a little different. There's a question here about a disgruntled customer that said they're not renewing, and the candidate's going to have to type out an email to explain how they respond to the customer in this scenario. Hello, this is a quick test. As you can see, as we type, the character limit goes down. In this case, the candidate has 5 minutes to respond. The timer goes down. Again, they don't have to take up the whole time. When they're ready, they can hit submit. Let's go ahead and hit submit. Now we've saved our third question, and we're going to go to our thank you video at the end.
That's it. Thanks for taking the time to answer our questions. We're eager to learn more about you. We'll get back to you with the next steps once we've evaluated your responses. Don't forget to provide feedback on your experience before you go. Thanks again and best of luck.
In this case, the candidate is able to upload their portfolio and connect their LinkedIn profile. I'll click Do It Later. Remember, WePow interviews can also be done on mobile devices. If a candidate clicks on a link from their mobile device, we'll detect that they're on the mobile and they'll be prompted to download the WePow candidate app. One of the best things about our candidate app is that it detects who the candidate is and which company they're interviewing for, and the mobile app will rebrand itself with your colors, logos, and all the same video content you saw in this web experience. Here at the end of the interview, we can rate our overall experience. Let's review an interview with a few more responses. We'll click on this senior analyst role. Here we can see a list of candidates that have completed our interview. To the bottom left-hand side, we have filters based on our form questions. If we wanted to only see candidates that spoke Spanish, we could click on the checkbox, and here you see we filtered out the candidates to only show those that speak Spanish. Let's go ahead and view them all. So here we have our first candidate, and we're watching her response to question 1. We can watch her response to question 1 and evaluate that answer. The beauty of WePow is that we separate each response on a question-by-question basis. Let's say question 2 is my most important question. I can click on question 2, watch candidate 1's response to question 2, simply click on the next candidate, and watch her response to question 2 as well.
I think that my relevant experience with this.
Alternatively, I can stay on one question and cycle through each candidate's response to that same exact question. Below, we have a notes and comments area, so you can add notes and comments about the candidate. You can see how the candidate responded to your form questions. And as a recruiter, I can share candidates with my hiring managers. I simply hit share, I input the hiring manager's information, and WePow will send the hiring manager a link to review the response. The hiring manager is able to rate the overall experience and give a final recommendation. Thumbs up, let's move candidate forward to the next step in the process, or thumbs down. If we ask the candidate to upload documents or a LinkedIn profile, you're able to access that here as well. Finally, after the recruiters reviewed all responses and received input from the different members of the hiring team, they're able to move the candidate into various folders: approved, dismissed, or hired. Anna did a great job, so let's go ahead and approve her. If we come back to our list of candidates, let's click on the complete filter. Here I can see my average evaluation scores. So this candidate has received a 3.25 out of 5. 2 evaluators gave them a thumbs up to move forward in the process. 1 gave a thumbs down. If I want to see more details, I can click on the analytics view. Here, if I hover over each question, I'm able to see how each hiring team member or evaluator evaluated the candidate on this particular question or this particular competency. All this information can be exported as well.